let's all get a laugh together here, because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list? There. She wasn't there. I wonder if she was even like, I don't know if they showed you past top 10. I would venture to say, is she in the top 20 question mark? Top 30. 20 to 30? 30 to 40?
Angel Reese just got hit with a brutal wake-up call. ESPN's new rankings have her at number 12, that's right, double digits, while CaitlincLark is sitting pretty at number 2. It's not even close anymore. You might be thinking, is this for real? Did Reese really fall that far? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into why this ranking is sending shockwaves through the WNBA and what it means for both players' futures. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Remember all that trash talk from Reese last season? Well, ESPN just delivered the ultimate reality check. Reese ended up at number 12 in the rankings. Can you believe it? That's not even in the top 10. Now, you might be thinking maybe she just had a bad season, but it's more than that. But I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up, Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She not involved. All you're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Let's go. A'ja Wilson, CaitlincLark, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Rika's on there. Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones. I like Jonquel Jones. Jewel Lloyd and Kelsey Plum. I don't see Angel Reese in the top 10. There's got to be some kind of tragic mistake. But it's interesting. I mean, again, I didn't see an Angel Reese in there anywhere. And I seem to remember the legacy media shoehorning her into every article about the Rookie of the Year that ever saw publication last year anywhere on the interwebs.
Let's break down her game, shall we? We're talking bricks, weak defense, and a whole lot of stat padding. But here's the kicker. Reese keeps talking like she's the face of the league. Meanwhile, her actual performance on the court, it's telling a completely different story. You know what they say, actions speak louder than words, and Reese's actions, they're barely a whisper.
Boston and Angel being higher than Satu, that's crazy work, fam. I'm sorry.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Experts are saying her game hasn't improved at all. Some even think she's regressing. Can you imagine a player who was hyped up as the next big thing, and now she's sliding backward? It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, but with more air balls. But wait, there's more, because this ranking, it's not just about Reese. It's about the changing landscape of women's basketball. We're seeing the shift, folks. The days of just being tall and grabbing rebounds aren't cutting it anymore. The game is evolving, and players like Reese, they're getting left behind.
Angel Reese went on this massive rant last year with Kennedy Carter, I believe, standing next to her about how people are tuning in for her. It wasn't just one other person, but all these people are moving the needle, and people want to watch her, except you're not.
Has benefited more from the CaitlincLark effect than Angel Reese. That's my hot take. Think about it. From going up against her, playing her in college, taking on that villain role, going into the league at the same time as CaitlincLark, everything that she's said and done on social media or in post-game press conferences, she is a star because of CaitlincLark. She would not be a star if CaitlincLark weren't a player. She'd be just as good a women's basketball player. She'd have been picked high in the WNBA draft and would still be a good player. Yep. But she is a star because of Caitlin.
Now you might be wondering what's Reese saying about all this. Well, buckle up, because this is where it gets really interesting. Despite the rankings, despite the criticism, Reese is still out there talking herself up. She's claiming she's a key draw for fans, saying people tune in just to watch her play. But here's the thing, the numbers don't lie, and right now those numbers are telling a very different story.
I think when they had a list last year, she was like 15 or something like that. Angel was like 19. And this year they got it closer to being right. It's more so, it's closer, okay? She's second. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
So we've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now. And Caitlin Clark is really damn high. One could argue she's not high enough.
Let's talk about that contrast for a second. On one side, you've got Reese's social media presence. It's all glam shots, bold statements, and enough confidence to fill an arena. On the other side, her actual gameplay. It's like night and day, folks. 1 minute she's posting about being unstoppable, the next, she's getting stopped by pretty much everyone on the court.
Now, I don't know where you are on Caitlin Clark, a lot of you viewers, but one could argue she's not high enough. Her haters will be furious that she's as high as they are, and there's a few of those comments. She's pretty damn high. There's only one player ahead of her in the league, and a lot of us could argue she may pass that player this year. What is also valuable is ESPN's rankings of WNBA players. And let's just take a look at this. Caitlin Clark has established herself as one.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Some experts are calling Reese a glorified rebound chaser. Ouch. That's got to sting. It's like being the world's tallest tree in a forest nobody visits. Sure, you're grabbing those rebounds. But if that's all you're doing, you're not exactly setting the basketball world on fire.
We did go off of how much winning Caitlin was doing, how she was contributing to winning, and then going off the viewership and all that. Oh yeah, for sure. I think Caitlin should have won, man. I think Caitlin should have.
Lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen number 2. They had Caitlin Clark. I said, really?
So what does this all mean for Reese? Well, that's a wake-up call, plain and simple. That number 12 ranking, it's not just a number, it's a message. It's ESPN and the basketball world saying, hey, Angel, you've got work to do. And we're not talking about a little fine-tuning here. We're talking major improvements across the board.
Unsurprisingly, Clark is listed number 2. All right, some of y'all are going to be mad. Only behind WNBA MVP A'ja Wilson. This ranking came after a big first year that saw the Indiana Fever playmaker average 19.7 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 8.4 assists, by the way, that led the league, 1.3 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game. And if I remember correctly, Caitlin Clark actually had averaged more block shots than Angel Reese. I believe that's a thing.
Remember when everyone was doubting Caitlin Clark, no saying she wasn't athletic enough for the WNBA? Well, look at her now. When ESPN dropped their rankings, guess who sat pretty at number 2? That's right, Clark's right up there at the top. And let me tell you, it's no accident.
And of course, you did have some haters. Please, Clark is not better than Stewie, Fee, or Inescu. Clark is not better than Stewart. They glazing Clark is not better than Inescu, blah, blah, blah. No matter what Caitlin Clark does, she's going to have some haters out there. It's just they're losing their minds over all the people that have either been traded for and signed for the Indiana Fever right now. And of course, it looks like a powerhouse of a team with Stephanie White leading the charge.
Let's go back to her college days for a second. People said she was just a shooter, nothing more, but Clark had other plans. She didn't just score, she rewrote the record books. Did you know she became the first player in NCAA history to record a 900-point season? That's not just good, that's mind-blowing. Clark wasn't content with being a one-trick pony. She was out there proving she could do it all.
Damned if they didn't go get Sid! They went up and snatched Sid Colson from the Azens. She is 100% vibes. She is 100% going to be a backup for Caitlin. It's going to be fantastic. Backup for Kelsey. She is a great addition to this backcourt. She has senior leadership. She has championship experience. She is the most fun.
Legacy crosses teams and fandoms following today's win. South Carolina coach Dawn Staley took a moment to acknowledge what Clark has done for the sport.
Just don't want to not utilize this opportunity to thank Caitlin for what she's done for women's basketball. Her shoulders were heavy and getting a lot of eyeballs on our game, and sometimes as a young person it could be a bit much, but I thought she handled it with class, and I hope that every step of the ladder of success that she goes, she's able to elevate whatever.
Now you might be thinking, sure, she scored a lot in college, But the WNBA, that's a whole different game. Right, wrong, Clark didn't just adapt. She dominated from day one. She's out there breaking rookie records left and right. And those logo threes we all loved in college, yeah. She brought those to the pros too. It's like she's playing on a court that's too small for her talent.
The Indiana Fever did last night got me so excited. The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season.
The biggest thing for me is her not even responding to all the that's going on. And I think that's commendable. I think she's a unicorn. She's doing everything I thought she was going to do and more, like win the MVP.
You think Caitlin
That's not going to happen this year, but it could happen very soon.
It's great for the conversation.
Y'all all went to the Olympics and now y'all losing now. Is y'all burnt out? Y'all should have let this young girl go over there and play.
I just don't think there's a correlation.
Nah, but she would because she's a rookie. He let these young play. Caitlin Clark is a superhero.
This is going to be history. It's like what I told her. That's pretty epic that we get to watch her, you know, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that.
Of course, a lot of people pointed out that Caitlin Clark's number 2 on this list, but the retards that make out the Olympic selections, you know, the Olympic committee, remember all those women, those hateful, spiteful women? Dawn Staley's one of them, if I remember correctly, was involved in that. Cheryl Reeve, the coach, number 2 player in the entire league, not on the Olympic team. Just pointing that out.
Caitlin Clark is selling out everywhere she goes. Last season, the WNBA had to move road games out of high school gyms into actual NBA arenas just to accommodate the demand.
Indiana Fever sent, and I'm talking about actual players, Lexi Hall, Leah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, sent messages to the to young girl athletes, women aspiring to be in sports, and it's a pretty good video, and they put that out. I can imagine that certain political entities out there will be upset. I think we all saw what happened today at the White House and feel good about where women's sports officially are now.